Yeah, so it's a lovely sunny Friday day, and I'm on my way to the I360. I'm doing a business managers meeting brunch kind of talk. I've been invited by one of my clients, Rivett, who's a wealth management specialist, probably the absolute one of the best guys in the industry I know. And what they do is they put on these kind of like meetings once a month or once every, I think it's once a month, and they invite a guest speaker down to talk about business, their kind of journey, where they are, what they've been doing. Yeah, and I'm that guy today. So yeah, I'm going to be speaking to a whole bunch of people that really know their shit. I'm going to kind of like make out I know my shit and hopefully not talk too much shit. So there we go. So that's what I'm doing. But the sun's shining, the day's good. Hopefully I won't choke. Definitely didn't watch 8 Mile last night, that's for sure. So, and I didn't have any spaghetti for lunch. Anyway, let's see how we get on. There he is, the bugger that set me up. What a lovely windy day. Richard, baby, over there. We're gonna go do this. We're not gonna stutter. I was saying I didn't watch 8 Mile live. Have you seen 8 Mile? About a rapper, and the first time he ever goes up on stage, he chokes and throws up all of his spaghetti. So I was saying no, I'm definitely no too many carbs, David. Yeah. Unless it's courgette spaghetti,
which tastes like shit.
Yeah, true. Right, let's go do this.
A very good afternoon to everybody. It's lovely to see a few new faces here today. A quick show of hands, please. What is it that made this particular lunch club appeal? Was it just because you're free? Was it the I360, the venue? Or was it the fact that we have a speaker who is a European cage fighting? I might know what's that for. Yeah. Okay. We're going to start with a couple of minutes video clip. Richard, somebody hit the button.
know Sol. He's obviously quite famous man in his parts for his achievements. As Tim said, he was European.
British and European sort of MMA champion.
So absolutely top of his game, which is great. There's nothing up there. A lot of people will know him. He's been in the press, I think, locally. We've got James. It's quite a funny one. I pulled out just to embarrass Sol. There's a little story here whereby, coincidentally, his friend had a place with squatters in, which seemed to be a bit of a problem. So Sol and a couple of his friends
to view the property.
Just have a look at the property. There's quite a good story there that Sol and his mates turned up, and these chaps left quite quickly. So it all turned out quite well in the end. So I've trained with Sol for 5 or 6 years now. Go to see him 3 times a week, so I've got to know him really well. And I think when you train with someone, you kind of get to know the character of the person as well as just training with them. And he also trained with my white collar boxing match I did a couple of years ago, which was tough. One of the things that came out of that was in the training and preparation for that, we kind of got these analogies between preparing for that fight and also doing a business meeting. It probably sounds a bit daft at the start. I think there's no similarity whatsoever. But when you look into it, there's actually quite a lot of similarities in terms of the preparation, the mindset, how you go into that, the fact that you want to win. Obviously very different, because if you lose the fight, you can hurt a lot more than losing a business meeting. But we kind of drew on those analogies. And so, I mean, how do you feel? Because you run a very successful business. You've got 2 gyms, a third on the way, all going very, very well. So you've turned yourself from a fighter to a businessman.
Yeah, I mean, there's often it's kind of a bit of a void for fighting, because when you do this, I mean, this to maybe the untrained eye looks just like 2 guys beating 7 bells of crap out of each other, which it kind of is, right? But it's in a controlled space. And there's a lot of hard work that goes into that process. I mean, I've been competing as a combat athlete since I was 14. I was 26, 27, through that sort of era there. So there was quite a lot of work and preparation going into that at that sort of point. And I guess once you sort of come through that process and you kind of realise that maybe you're not going to be the best fighter that you could be, or you're not going to go to mega stardom like people like Conor McGregor and get signed to fight people like Floyd Mayweather. I don't think I saw that fight. Did you see that fight? Yeah. Okay, the hype was more, was better than the fight, right? But that just shows the power of hype, right? But I guess I always had to make a decision really for my family. Was what am I going to do with myself? Can I be a fighter for the rest of my life, or can I try and turn what I've got, which is a skill set, try and teach that skill set to other people? I knew that in Brighton there was a bit of a niche, because there wasn't any MMA around. I remember when I first won my European title, I went to the Argus, forgive me, and I said, I've just won a European title for the guy from Germany, an amazing fight, 27-foot octagonal cage, won in the first round. I went, okay, yeah, we'd love to cover that story for you. Okay, perfect, looking forward to it at the end of the week. I've got a box the size of a thumbnail, and on the outside back cover was a little 8-year-old playing badminton and won a local contest, and I was like, okay, there's a little bit of difference there. But what that showed me was that the city really wasn't ready for that level of combat or that level of fighting. So I had to sort of quickly think to myself, how can I turn this into a business? So I did my research, and I guess that's what I sort of been talking about, comparisons there. That was the first time I really had to sort of delve into the business world, like get business plans together, look at funding, how am I going to source the right sort of equipment, what was my target market, what was the space like, I had to go for a change of views, all these kind of things, which was pretty complex to me as just somebody who would get up in the morning, go for a run at 4:30, come back, have some breakfast, go to London, train my flight team, come back, do another training session in the evening. That was it. That was it for like 6-7 years of my life, when I was a professional MMA fighter. So to literally go through the other side, I found it quite hard to deal with. So I started to try and put a little bit more, look at the way that I researched fighters, and looked at what I did to sort of find as much information as I could about the person I was going to fight, and do the same thing with the business. And that's when I really found that there was a bit of a correlation between the two. It was all down to research and structure.
Okay, so obviously you're very successful now in terms of the business, in terms of your fighting. It hasn't always been that way. I've had a little clip in there which I quite enjoy watching. One of your fights.
Someone's got to hurt it. It's got to be daring.
think someone's going to find his distance here. You've got to stay well away from the cage or the tape down.
What are you moving away? You'll see in a second. That's why I'm moving away. I listen to you. That's the downside.
That is a slow mo.
Unfortunately for Saul, that's going to be a highlight reel for quite some time.
If you look to see where my cheek touches my chest,
Relaxed right here. He's going to counter. See, he dropped it. See, it was a left hook right on the button. Saul's right hand was nowhere near his chin to defend. Look at that. It's a good thing the cage was there. Actually, he bounced right up to the floor. The only thing in his favor, because of what.
That's obviously my favourite thing. So, it goes to show you, people remember you as being European champion, British champion, whatever, but it's not what smooth sailing is. And again, we find out in business, it doesn't always go our way.
no, definitely.
Pick yourself up, literally.
I was scooped off the campus there, yeah, by the cleaners. Yeah, I mean that was that fight for me was my turning point. You know, and I literally, they got this guy from America, and they call like the gatekeepers for the company or the organisation called the Ultimate Fighting Championship, or the UFC, the guys are coaches. So what they do is they send over one of their good fighters who's probably not good enough to go for the title contentions in the UFC to sort of source out and fight other guys around the local organisation. So you get to see where you are. If you can get past him, then they can get an invite from the UFC. So that was my calling card gone. That was buried. But also in that fight there, he was 93 kilos, I was 83 kilos. Up until that point, I sort of never really wanted to cut weight, so I had quite a lot of bad issues in cutting weight with my boxing. I wasn't dieting correctly, not just through ignorance. I didn't really understand how to diet. Since then, I've gone on to become a nutritionist, ironically enough now. But at that point, it was I had to reevaluate, and and I had to make a decision. It was like, okay, I've just been knocked out by this guy. Do I give up? Do I hang up the gloves? Okay, I could do. Is that within my DNA? No. So what do? I've got to look at the other option, which was my counter was to diet down, look at the right ways of doing that, drop a weight class, and come back, not to fight him, thank God, but fight other opponents. And I went on to 6 straight victories after that. So it does prove that sometimes when you do get hit, you do get taken down, it's about how you counter that and how you come back with it. And that's why I think there's a lot of similarities in business. So.
Okay, fresh out of that presentation, I'd like to talk about one of the few things on this is nerves. Yeah, so I actually had this conversation with Ethan the other day, my son. He turned around and he said, Dad, why are you doing this if you're sort of nervous about speaking in front of people? And I said, because I want to overcome my fear. I don't want to be that guy that can't, speak to a group. I mean, I've always spoken to groups when I'm training people, coaching people, I taught classes up to 50, 60 people. I've done shows, I've done all that sort of stuff, seminars in that kind of environment. But standing there and sort of speaking about a subject, was something, to an audience was something that kind of, created a bit of fear inside of me and sort of created a bit of anxiety. So to be honest with you, there's a few factors that sort of really helped me this week in preparation for this. One of the things is I've stopped drinking caffeine a week before. I felt that I was sort of, getting a bit of anxiety from drinking sort of caffeine and worrying, and my heart was, racing at a pace that I didn't feel comfortable with. So I removed that. Really studied the sort of the sort of script that I was going to be sort of talking about, so I made sure that I was prepared right. Also sort of studied the audience really, the people that were there. I wanted to find out who they were, what sort of business people were there, because they're pretty much all wealth management specialists. They're all like sort of very influential people within the sort of city, with good businesses. So I really wanted to sort of make sure that what I was talking about was engaging, it was informative, and they got something from that. So I felt kind of comfortable with that. And also throwing in an odd little joke obviously helped as well. One of the things that really helped as well was this, talking to a camera. So I was talking to the camera about the subject and going through that in my mind and sort of seeing and sort of identifying where I was going wrong, whether I was talking too much or what have you, because I do have a habit of sometimes rambling on. and I can't edit it like I can do with the YouTube videos. So it's literally like, you know, you're there, you're exposed. So I wanted to make sure that everything that I did was correct. And to be honest with you, I feel very, very good. I feel very comfortable about it. I've got another sort of public speaking event next week with the Met College, speaking to their level 3 personal trainers about how to set up a business, you know, the pitfalls of doing it, what you need to do it, you know, when you come out of your college, how you're going to be employed, who's going to employ you, those sort of things. So I'm quite looking forward to that too. So anyway, that was it over and done with. So that was I've conquered my fear. So if you've got any tips, or you've got any advice, or you have any problems with public speaking or what have you, I'd love to hear about that. So drop a comment in down below, and hopefully we can create some dialogue about it. But anyway, I've overcome one more fear. That's it, done.